to October baseball in May. Never before has an I-70 showdown meant so much. Never before has a weekend series in the spring felt like a fall classic. The Cardinals live for October baseball. The playoffs are where they belong. The Royals, after a 29-year postseason slumber, finally got a taste of success in 2014. From pride to pennants, Redbirds, Royals, are you ready?
Great baseball over there. We're playing great baseball over here. So I think that, probably since 1985, it's the best that the two teams have played simultaneously in the same year. So, we look for it to be a great series.
Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and for the first time ever, the I-70 series means the Royals and the Cardinals are both in first place. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Brian Lefevre. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. Ned Yoshud, the first day he was here, preached that no one series is more important than the other. They're all very important. And yet, if I'm reading between the lines and listening to the tone of his voice, he was acknowledging that this is a special series.
And that's a rare moment for Ned, because in baseball, it's so much like life. It's day to day, what have you done for me lately? No looking back, let's look ahead. The uniforms are the same, whatever, they're different colors. But really, the fact is, the two best teams in baseball reside in Kansas City, Missouri tonight.
And it's not just opinion when you say these are the two best teams in baseball. It is fact. If you go by the numbers, our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard, the two best teams as far as winning percentage goes, the two best in run differential, and it's not just offense. Two best teams in each of their league in ERA. They have the two best bullpens. And let's see how the Cardinals handle the clutch Kansas City Royals.
That's right. Over a 300 batting average with runners in scoring position. They are nails. 1 through 9 in that lineup. Somehow the Kansas City Royals, they can get the job done. They don't have to have big names attached to them, but the Cardinals, they do. They're steady on defense, just like Kansas City. They make the plays. They have an all-star Gold Glove catcher, just like the Kansas City Royals. So this is going to be a wonderful series to see who can play the best baseball out of the 3 days.
It'll be Chris Young pitching for the Royals tonight. Joel and Monty will talk about the starting matchup tonight and the rest of the series.
Murphy been struggling lately, looked good earlier against Detroit. Has some shoulder stiffness. Felt it grab the other day warming up, so they're going to push him back, skip him in this series. He's expected to start, as of right now, Tuesday in New York. That means that after tonight, we will see tomorrow John Lackey, Edinson Volquez, Sunday youngsters Michael Wacha and Yordano Ventura. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. Tonight, we see the veteran Chris Young. No one else seemed to want him but the Royals. How come?
Well, that's a good question, Joel, but I think the fact that he's 35 years old played into it. Plus, he was not real solid down the stretch last year for the Seattle Mariners, but he has certainly been nails for this Royals rotation in his 3 opportunities had so far this year.
He has been spectacular for the Royals. They signed him in March, and in 3 starts, that 0.54 ERA overall on the year, including the bullpen, at under 1, Monty. And as we see in our Honda most trusted player, Chris Young has been extremely well trusted. They don't hit very much against him. Why?
Well, he's a guy that lives with the fly ball, got a great ballpark here to pitch him, but he can also put guys away. He's got a great slider he throws. He gets 2 strikes on you. He's going to throw the ball under your bat for that strike.
Salvador Perez usually looks like the biggest guy out there. Not when he's walking next to 6'10" Chris Young, who throws the first pitch, coming up next.
U-verse high-speed internet. The U-verse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your Chevy dealer today for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And baseball fans across Missouri are watching this 3-game series. The first place Royals and the first place Cardinals. St. Louis has a 3.5 game lead in their division, managed by Mike Matheny. He has gone to 4 consecutive National League Championship series since taking over as Cardinals manager. And they will try and figure out Chris Young, as Kia puts us in the driver's seat. In his interleague career, he is 10-2. That is the 2nd best winning percentage among active pitchers.
Well, you know, the Detroit Tigers, they tried twice. The New York Yankees tried once. They didn't have so much success against Chris Young. He's been really dominant. Fastball, slider, and a changeup. Fastball is an invisible, they like to call it. At least hitters that try to face that. It's tough. He's not overpowering. 80 98 to maybe 91, maybe 92. But really good with his secondary pitches, slider as well.
The Cardinals will try and figure out Chris Young and try and get the ball somehow through the Royals defense, which just continues to run away from the pack. Colton Wong, Cardinal leadoff man and second baseman, and Chris Young with 85 miles per hour is in for a strike. And here we go. One and one on Colton Wong, Cardinals first round pick in 2011.
Young, very deceptive to pick up out of that 6'10" frame. Kind of short arms it, comes up underneath the ball.
Speaking of defense,
I mean, you know we were going to see one or two, but the first batter of the game, really. Eski, did you have to show him the range and the soft hands as you crashed for this? You kept your focus and you gloved it. Oh, good concentration right out of the gate. It's on. Got to have soft hands to keep that ball from bouncing out. A lot of those off of bats. And baseball's thrown by Chris Young. He just has the ability to stay up in the strike zone with not overpowering stuff. It's really amazing to watch this guy work. He's very well prepared and he's one heck of a competitor. Chris Young.
And 0-2 on Carpenter. You know, you mentioned the soft hands for Escobar on that play, and we all learned as kids, you know, you catch the ball with two hands, which you really don't catch the ball with two hands. I mean, your bare hand has nothing to do with the ball sticking in the glove. Still 0-2 on Carpenter, but there is the rare exception, and that was one right there, Hud, where he really seemed to understand that there was a good chance that ball could pop out of his glove, and he was ready with his throwing hand was like a lid, making sure that ball stayed in his glove.
Very fundamentally sound, exactly, especially when you're sliding like that and you're catching, you know, you're doing basically a basket catch.
And now shallow left field, and Alex plays it conservatively and grabs it with his bare hand. So Matt Carpenter, who leads the National League multi-hit games, is 1 for 1. And here's the Royals defensively, presented by Ford.
Alex Gordon, the best defensive player in the American League for sure. Wednesday night, on full display as he does a face plant right into the wall of the cage. Came up with no injuries, which is amazing to me, and another tip of the cap from everyone on the field, and including the crowd, a standing O. Well deserved.
And he said during batting practice tonight that his neck does not hurt at all. And I felt like I had to go to the chiropractor just watching that replay 2 or 3 times.
You and 29,000 of us others, I tell you that it's the ability that he has to know his surroundings and decelerate on contact. He's able to slow it down. When he catches it, he knows he's going to crash, but at full speed, it's hard to control your body. I know I couldn't. I'll be on the DL for 15 days after that.
Did you hear Luke Hochevar's great line?
Yes.
He swears he saw Alex's nose go through the chain link.
No, those guys were right up there close.
I mean, talk about a face plant that his nose was, his face was on one side of the chain link, but his nose is on the other side.
Carpenter does have 4 steals. He's been caught 3 times, and they'll run against Young. Young's not that quick home. But what makes Young so strong with runners and when they get out there is that he pays them no mind. He might give a courtesy throw over once in a while, but he really focuses on the guy who can hurt you. That's the guy with the bat.
Two and two on Matt Holliday. Matt Holliday had yesterday off. He has started this season by reaching base safely in all 38 games. The major league record is held by Derek Jeter, which is 53. That was back in 1999. But Matt Holliday now among the top 5 or top 7 in major league history.
Well, he has great plate discipline. 27 walks, 442 on base percentage, 44 hits. He's got a great knowledge of the strike zone.
Laid on a fastball at 86. 2-2. Holliday has 20 at bats against Chris Young. The Cardinals mostly have an inexperienced lineup against Chris Young, but Holliday has seen him by far the most.
And I think that's an advantage to the Cardinals, the fact that they've never seen Chris Young before. And that's because if you faced him before and you've had several offers against him, you're demoralized before you even get there. So these young guys, where did that miss?
So you're dreading facing him.
Right, a lot of guys are. Good pitch. That's right where he wants to be, right down there. But you know, if you haven't even faced him, you're saying, you know, and the competitiveness in you says, oh man, I'm gonna get him.
Carpenter runs, and it's grounded to Moustakas, who makes a nice backhand play, and on the money to Hosmer, 2 down with a runner at second base. And I've often wondered that you know, you never know what's going to happen when you get into the batter's box. There is skill and there's some luck involved, whether you hit the ball hard right at somebody or not. But how much is the battle won between pitcher and hitter before the game even starts?
I'm saying
the mental battle.
90%, because physically these guys all have the God-given ability, the work ethic, everything to perform at this level. But it's that delicate mental muscle that separates the really good from the not as good mentally. Because it's all about, you know, how you feel. What are you telling yourself when you don't feel good? Are you pumping yourself up? Are you using positive mojo? Because, you know, you have to think positive or you'll never succeed.
Matt Adams ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
Cardinals, they are some beefed up strong guys. I can tell. I watched their batting practice today down level on the field, and man, these guys are all built. They are strong all night long.
Omar Infante went back, comes back in, and that's the inning. So when were we going to see a great defensive play tonight? How about the second pitch of the game? Alcides Escobar for the first out of the first. away from number 400 as Royals manager, and there's his first place team with a 2-game lead over the Tigers. At third place in Royals history for wins. 12 wins shy of Whitey Herzog, who is here tonight and will join us here in the broadcast booth. And here's Ned's lineup presented by State Farm. And now we're past the quarter pole, and the Royals still leading the league in hitting. They are still leading the league in slugging percentage, and they are second in the league in on base percentage. And they'll be facing right-hander Lance Lynn, a strikeout pitcher, 56 strikeouts in 48 2/3 innings. He is making his third career start against the Royals. The Royals did not see him last year.
And he's a fastball pitching machine. He loves it at fastballs. Not shy about attacking any hitters with it. He's got a really good cut fastball that he'll mix in with that. And a slider. Has a changeup but didn't throw one in his last start. And very few curveballs. So he's going to be coming at the Royals offense with 91 to 93 two-seam cutting fastballs. And he challenges guys. You got to like it. He's a throwback pitcher. He's a guy who really believes in his stuff.
There you go. 79.3% of his pitches are fastballs. Only Bartolo Colon, who's now pitching for the Mets, has a higher usage of that pitch. So it must be pretty good, because every hitter wants to hit a fastball, and this guy throws it about 80% of the time.
That's right. But, you know, it's tricky. It's got some late movement. That's the whole key. He's able to trick the ball, manipulate the fastball into changing into a couple of different speeds and different looks. There's a rare walk for Escobar. Just his 6th on the season.
And Lance Lynn doesn't walk many. And now Mike Moustakas, and what a series he had against Cincinnati. 6 for 8 in the 2-game series with 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. And that .342 batting average is second in the American League.
Ooh, man.
You know, it's still early enough where you say, well, he's hitting, 50 points better than he was last year at this time, or how about 100 points better than he was last year. And you're like, well, okay, that's good. Mike Moustakas is 190 points better than he was at this point last year.
Yeah, fantastic turnaround, no question about it.
2-0.
Lynn, when it comes to base runners, he's very quick home. He's got a slide step he'll mix in there, and he's also quick over to first base. And something doesn't seem to be going right for Lynn, as we'll show you their defense. No errors. Another spacious confine here at the K to patrol, but something's going on with Lynn. I think Yadier Molina detected something going on with Lance Lynn, and they've already got some action on the field here with their head athletic trainer.
And we can't see Mike Matheny's lips. I can't read his lips, but I'll bet I can read his mind in that, hey, let's not do anything foolish here. Don't turn a small problem into a big problem. The Cardinals have already lost Adam Wainwright, and yet they are still first in the major leagues in team ERA. And whatever Lance Lynn said, it was good enough, and he will stay in.
You see Moose is 190 points better than last year. He was on his way to Omaha this time last year.
With a 152 batting average and now hitting .342. Only Nelson Cruz has a higher batting average in the American League. And he's ahead in the count. 3 balls and no strikes.
Extremely confident is Moose. be a little bit surprised to see him this early in the game swinging 3-0, but when you have good numbers against the guy and you're confident, like Moose is, he's 3 for 6 with a couple of homers. Why not? It's a fastball he likes. Drive it out of here.
Getting another look at a Lance Lynn pitch.
So early. You walk the previous hitter ahead of you, make him throw you another one.
Slicing over to Grichuk in left field. Escobar tagging and holding. One down. Here's our Toyota League leaders for tonight. Since right after the All-Star break last year, the Royals and the Cardinals are both among the top 5 in overall record. The Royals are the best. 30 games above 500. Better than the Nationals. They won 98 games last year. Better than the Dodgers. Better than the Cardinals. Better than the Orioles. And with a win tonight, the Royals can improve to 13 games above 500. They come in tonight 26-14. One and one to Lorenzo Cain.
Lorenzo 0 for 3 in his career against Lynn.
Escobar does not have a big lead. 2 balls and 1 strike.
I'm getting Lynn 1.1 to 1.2 from home, from the windup to the home plate. So that's a really quick home. It's going to make it tough for a base stealer unless he gets a great jump and Yachty doesn't have a good throw. And that's highly unusual for Yadier.
Cain got a pitch down and drives it into right field. Nice swing, and the Royals have 2 on with 1 out.
Yep, he likes to hit the low cane triangle, his teammates call it. It's a little spot out there beyond second base, but that was a lot better than the low cane triangle. Two seam sinking fastballs, what they call that. And Lorenzo had a very nice smooth uppercut swing. He was able to stay underneath the baseball. Lynn's going to try to do the same thing to Hosmer, get him to ground out into a little double play here. Oz wants to try to keep his hands inside the ball, keep him from rolling over. As quick as Lynn is home, and you got Yadier Molina, who's thrown out 37.5% of runners this year, which is an excellent mark. It's not advisable to steal. However, Royals don't have to steal as much. They're driving runners in.
Peralta will field. The Cardinals get an out. The Royals move the runners up. And now 2 in scoring position for Kendrys Morales. Tonight is Jersey night here at Kauffman Stadium, and we want to thank all the fans showing their pride and sporting their favorite Royals jersey. If you don't have a jersey yet, pick up your new Majestic Cool base jersey featuring moisture wicking and breathable stretch fabric that guarantees you'll always stay cool in the stands.
Look at the sea of royal blue here at the K. Still red sprinkled in. Thinking maybe with the cool weather, some of the fans wore their Chiefs gear. You think that's it?
Well, I hope not, because that would mean they're wearing red.
I know. It's good. Big time opportunity for Morales, a .396 hitter with a runner in scoring position. And Morales is second in the league with 32 RBIs.
Here's where the Royals have been most dangerous, not just with runners in scoring position, but with runners in scoring position and 2 down. 83 runs scored, 80 RBIs. And Morales has Escobar at third and Kane at second. And Lynn jumps ahead 1-2.
This whole 3-game series between these two great teams from Missouri is going to be really about the Cardinals pitchers holding their opponents to a 197 average with runners in scoring position against the Royals, who hit 311. That's the best with runners in scoring position.
So Morales is second in the league overall, but when you're talking about at home, and this is why he has become an instant fan favorite. He has the most RBIs in the American League at home, and there's 2 more out there. Escobar walked with 1 out. Kane singled, and now with 2 down, it's 2-2 on Morales. See the patch on the sleeve of Lance Lynn. OT, and the tragic news we received when we were in San Francisco during the World Series when Oscar Taveras had passed away in a car accident. Deep right field, and gone. A 3-run home run for Kendrys Morales. So now he's driven in 22 at home to extend the lead. And the Royals with a 3-0 lead with 2 down in the bottom of the first.
You just can't sneak a piece of cheese by this guy. Bam, bam. 1 swing. There you go, Chris Young. There's your 3-run lead. First inning. Wondered how Lance Lynn was going to beat this highly potent offense with just fastballs, and so far he's having a rough time of it.
Fifth home run, RBIs 33, 34, and 35. Now Alex pulls it to first and just foul, and it's 0-2.
Can you believe how the Royals knock in runs with 2 outs? It's amazing. That ball's it's on the inner half and it's straight. And Morales with a nice easy pass kept his hands inside that baseball, but also had enough back underside to get that spin.
Alex strikes out to end the inning. Royals take a 3-0 lead. When we come back, we're going to visit with Royals Hall of Famer and Baseball Hall of Famer Whitey Herzog. Whitey Herzog, the most popular manager across the state of Missouri because he managed both teams successfully, won a World Series with the Cardinals, went to the World Series 3 times, won 1, took the Royals to the postseason the first 3 times in the franchise history. And he is here tonight. And right before we went on the air, you were reminding us about the year that you had Rex Hudler with the Cardinals.
Rex and I had some laughs. You know, the fans always loved Rex because he hustle. And, you know, if there was a boo-boo at first or he beat the play because he could run, he'd take off for second. And if there was another boo-boo, he'd take off for third. But eventually he'd run himself out. You know, so one day I was talking to Rex and I said, Rex, I really don't make any difference to me where you make out first, second, or third. What the heck's the use to keep going? You're going to be out anyway before you get done. But we had some laughs.
I remember he told me, hey, you know, you can stop at a base once in a while.
we had some laughs, I want to tell you. But he was a fun guy to have in your ball club. And the fans loved Rex Hudler. I mean, in Montreal, in St. Louis, in Anaheim, anywhere he's ever been.
Thanks, Whitey.
Yeah.
This must be a lot of fun for you to watch these two teams playing as well as they are.
Well, you know, Rex, when they started interleague play, I didn't agree that they should do that. I think there's enough travel in baseball. I don't really see any need for it. I don't think the White Sox or Cubs need it. I don't think the New York clubs need it. But at that time, Kansas City being a doormat and down, it was nice that they got to play 6 games or 3 games here every year with the Cardinals because they packed the house, you know. But now you got 2 teams that are good, and it's a little tougher for the Cardinals to come and play them here or play them in St. Louis because, you know, these 2 teams could meet in the World Series if things broke right. You can't say nothing's for sure today because of the wild card, the knockout game, winning your division. You know, you used to have to win your division to get in the playoffs. You know, you got Miami wins 2 times, finished 13 games out, 9 games out. Cardinals last 2 World Championships, 11.5 games out, 9 games out, and they win the World Championship. I'm not against the fact that more teams get in the playoffs and so forth, but once again, when I look at it, you got to add the other wild card team now, the knockout game. That's a joke.
It's tough, one game.
You know, you got 1 game, you play all year, 162 games, and you got 1 game that you don't know. Just look at the Royals last year. They get down 6-2 to Oakland. Moss hit the 3-run homer. They got their best pitcher going, Lester. He's got 94 pitches, and he's winning 6-3. And he walks a guy on a 3-2 pitch with 2 outs that could have been strike 3. And he was ball 4, and they take him out. Now, here's a guy they traded half the franchise for. He's only got 94 pitches, 2 outs and 2 men on. They bring in a guy from the bullpen, gives up 3 hits, ties the game. The Royals win 11, and from that on, it turned the city around. It turned the baseball team around, the players around, and it's still something that's happened. And I said, I don't understand that. I'm not second-guessing Melvin because he's done a good job. Why would you give that much to get a pitcher? And why would he have 94 pitches and 2 outs in a 6 inning with a 6-3 lead? And you take him out. I got to give him another hitter. At least a hitter. Now, you know, I mean, I can't take him out in that situation.
Think he stared at the ceiling a few times during the offseason and thought about that?
Huh?
Think he stared at the ceiling during the offseason a few times and thought about that move?
Well, you know, then you can look back. I love Yossi. I had a good conversation with him tonight. You know, that knockout game, he brings in the kid to pitch out of a jam. He should have brought in Herrera to pitch out of the jam and then let Vargas pitch the next inning and then go to Davis and the other guy. But it worked out.
I read your book and I loved it. You're missing a great game.
Right.
And I've used a line that you had in that book. What would help you sleep at night is that when you were deciding who was going to pinch hit or who you're going to bring out of the bullpen, the guy with more zeros in his salary was the one you were going to defer to because there's a reason why they're making that money.
That's right. I learned that against Rusty Staub in a camp in Detroit when I first managed an American League for the Royals. And I had a situation in Detroit where Kemp was having a great rookie year, the kid from Southern Cal. left-handed hitter, and he was hitting behind Staub. And no, he was hitting in front of Staub. He was hitting third. The rest of Staub was hitting fourth. And I walked Kemp to get the Staub, and
Steve Kemp.
I had to set up first play, but in the meantime, no, I shouldn't have. I wouldn't have had to do that. But anyway, to make a long story short, Rusty could hit, and he blew one in, down in the house. I said that from that time on, there's a reason he's making $3 million and Kemp's making rookie salary.
Right.
And that was always something I looked at and something that I felt that I could sleep with.
Mm-hmm. We just a few moments ago had a shot of some of the championship banners up on the Royals Hall of Fame, and you were manager in 1976, and then 1977, the team that won 102 games. 1978, that's when it all started, when you were manager, and the team went from an expansion team to a model franchise in the American League.
Well, basically, I got fired in Texas. Ted Williams talked me into taking that job. It was probably the dumbest thing I ever did in my life. I got fired in September 8th that first year, and my record was 47-91. I didn't think I'd ever get another chance to manage, being a no-name player, just a hanger-on. And I went out and coached for Winkles in L.A., in Anaheim. But Joe Burke, who was my general manager of Texas, came to Kansas City. And when he thought he had to make a change, he interviewed Losarda and Billy Hunter and myself. And he chose me to take over the job in the middle of June, and I stepped into a wonderful situation. Brett was a rookie. Mayberry was hitting 39 home runs. I had two great players on the bench, Frank White and Al Collins. I had McRae, I had Otis, I had Freddie Patek, a wonderful turf shortstop. He could play shortstop on the turf. And when I put Brett and Collins in the lineup and took Cookie Rojas and made a Pincinata, it was like getting two superstars and not giving up nothing.
Right.
And we just took up. And never forget, in 77, we started off 36 and 36, and half a game out on August 30th, and Gene Mock was managing Minnesota. He said, nobody's good enough to pull away. I'll never forget that. And I put that up on the bulletin board so the players would see that. We won 16 in a row, beat Oakland a doubleheader right here at 3:30 in the morning. And 7 people drowned in the flash floods leaving the ballpark that night. Doc Benitz come in the next night and threw a 1-0 shutout to break our 16th game losing streak. And then we won 8 more. We won 24 out of 25 and ended up winning 102 games.
Bulletin board material worked.
Well, in everything, every move you make, when things are going good, everything just works out.
Right.
Every pitcher you strapped out there did a job. And, the big thing with managing is the bullpen. Mm-hmm. And I told Yossi tonight, I said, you got one of the greatest bullpens in the history of the game. Now you got 2 more guys that are doing the job. And I said, it's almost like you better get beat by 5 or you ain't going to beat them. But I never seen a team that could lose a starter for 30 days and then put a guy out there and don't give up a run.
We love you, Brad. We love you, buddy. Thanks for coming.
before we begin the bottom of the second inning. Our University of Kansas Hospital injury report. And bad news in Toronto as second baseman Devin Travis is on the disabled list with left shoulder inflammation. Boy, was he on fire to begin the year for the Blue Jays. Came over from the Tigers in an offseason trade, which sent Anthony Gose from Toronto to Detroit. It cooled off some since then, and now on the disabled list. Salvador Perez, Omar Infante, and Paulo Orlando in the bottom of the second against Lance Lynn. 0-2 on Sal. Two out of 6 in the Cincinnati series with an RBI. He's driven in 22. Just a little bit outside. Lance Lynn, after he walked Alcides Escobar and then fell behind Mike Moustakas, got a visit from his manager and the trainer and persuaded them to leave him in the game. He then gave up a base hit and the 3-run home run. So I guess you just assume all night, Hud, is, even though we don't know what they were talking about, is Lance Lynn 100% or close to 100% tonight?
Well, you know, you mentioned it earlier, though, with the problems they've had in their rotation. If Matheny smells a rat, he's pulling him out. Not literally, the white rat was just here. I didn't mean that, anything about that. But he smelled a possibility of an injury. He's not going to let his guy continue to go out there, in my opinion. So, must have been something they saw, and Lynn shoot him away.
Former Cardinal catcher Mike Matheny. And that was the beginning of what is a popular trend now in hiring managers. Tony La Russa. Who was going to replace Tony La Russa, who was in Cooperstown, coming off a World Series championship in 2011, and the Cardinals turned to a guy who had no managerial experience at all, any professional coaching experience at all. Salvador Perez, just like Lorenzo Cain, goes down and gets a low pitch and is on with a leadoff single.
He's so good at that. You would think that the report would get around the league that he's a great low ball hitter and a bad ball hitter on top of it, even though that had some of the plate. He's able to get out front. You could tell his booty flew out. He is off balance, but he's able to keep his hands back and guide that ball into left field.
For Sal, that gives him an 8-game hitting streak. And here's Omar Infante with a 6-game hitting streak. We have talked so often this year about the Royals' balanced lineup that there is some sort of production 1 through 9. And the Royals' lower third of the order right now is really swinging the bat well. Perez and Infante with the hitting streaks, and Paulo Orlando on Wednesday against Cincinnati. He lost a 5-game hitting streak, so that is not an exit door, if you will, when you get to the lower third of the Royals order.
Not at all.
Carpenter runs to the grass, and on a close play he gets Infante, and Perez moves up to second base. Remember, the 2015 MLB All-Star voting is underway, and there are many deserving Royals, so be sure to go to Royals.com/vote right now to cast your selections. This year all voting is online, and you can vote up to 35 times on the exclusive Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. So make sure Ned Yost has a roster full of Royals. That All-Star Game is being played in Cincinnati this year.
Love that picture of Salvi. That's in character, folks.
Down and away to Paulo Orlando.
Sliders away and down to right-handers is what Lance Lynn is trying to get these guys out with. Cut fastball 88 to 91. It's a true cutter, about a 2-inch cut, enough to throw the hitter off. So what a hitter might be saying after facing Lynn going back to the dugout is he's sneaky. That fastball sneaks up on you. '91, '92, it looks more like it's 95 or 6. You saw that was a two-seamer. You see how that ball moved into the righty, and the cutter goes away. So that's why he gets away with not throwing any curves or changeup. He really trusts that fastball.
Two and two. Royals hitting .311 with runners in scoring position. 8 points better than the Baltimore Orioles. Salvador Perez, one of the reasons why the Royals have done so well with runners at second and or third base. Back to Lynn, but trying to field it awkwardly and safe at first base. So the speed of Orlando beat the throw by Wong. Mike Matheny is out of the Cardinal dugout. He's on the top step. And for the moment, the Royals have runners at first and third with one out.
Well, that's one heck of a play by Colton Wong, especially after Lynn tipped it with his glove. The minute a hitter sees that ball being tipped, now that's a base hit if you have any kind of speed. But look at Wong out of nowhere coming in there, making that play, having to turn and throw against the momentum of his body. That's a really tough play. Obviously, he beat it. It's an infield hit.
Now Alcides Escobar, who has already scored a run, now trying to drive in a run, but Lynn made a good pitch in on him, and Wong handles the pop-up, 2 down. Well, we talked about it at the top of the broadcast. The Royals are the best in the league hitting with runners in scoring position, but St. Louis pitching hasn't let the stress get to them this year because they are the best in their league pitching with runners in scoring position.
I think that's going to be the whole challenge this whole weekend, just to see if the Cardinals indeed, their pitchers are as good as what the paper says they are. Coming in 197 average with runners in scoring position. Well, Morales already put a dent in that.
Tying away to Mike Moustakas. Lynn got him on a fly ball to left in the first inning. Two and 0.
The fact that the Royals put the ball in play, they don't strike out, especially with runners in scoring position, tells me that they're putting the ball in play with authority and it's going through. Only 52 strikeouts with runners in scoring position. That's fewest in the major leagues.
2 and 1. Is already moving up on 50 pitches. 2 down in the second inning. This is number 45, and Moustakas hits it well to center field. Back goes Borges. He's got it. Moustakas coming very close to hitting the Royals' second 3-run home run. We'll be joined by Missouri Governor Jay Nixon when we come back. The Royals lead 3-0. one of the I-70 series. The Royals lead 3-0 as we go to the top of the third inning and welcome in Missouri native and the 55th governor of the state of Missouri, Jay Nixon. And you and I were just talking off camera, and you're feeling what I've been feeling here. You go to a lot of sporting events throughout the state, and you were commenting on the atmosphere at Kauffman Stadium.
Feels like a football crowd,
doesn't it?
I mean, last year it started, and everybody's leaning forward. They're really into it.
You spent a lot of time here during the postseason, didn't you?
Yes, I did. As many as I could get here, and that was a lot. I mean, it's it had been 30 years.
Really?
Well, I mean, since '85. Everybody in the state was talking about it, and it was really a lot of fun for everybody all across the state.
You know, I've often wondered when you or any governor comes to a game, as Colton Wong with half a bat ends up with a leadoff single, or the President of the United States comes to a game. I mean, with the responsibilities that you have, and man, it was let's just say it was quite a year in the state of Missouri this past year. I mean, can you sit and really just soak into a sporting event, or do you have the 7,000 things going on in the state of Missouri always swimming in the back of your head?
It's kind of hard to slow your head down. I mean, although sports, it's a little easier to listen to y'all on the TV or radio, or you're kind of by yourself. It's hard, but sports has always had a rhythm to it that helps relax me, and I enjoy the competition too. So it's and then quite frankly, you're with all these Missourians, so it's a nice place to be.
Right. This is Matt Carpenter taking outside, and well, it was, getting back to the World Series here in the postseason here. I imagine because of your position, you were rooting for an I-70 World Series, but boy, it was sure nice after the long drought that you were talking about for this side of the state to put themselves back on the national map.
Well, and everybody around the country was for the Royals too. I mean, it was one of those years in which the way they got in by playing a great second half, the dramatic game and the playoff game, and then the run. Everybody across America was calling. I must have been called by 30 other governors. Sure. They were all Royals fans. Okay.
That's great.
There's always, by the way, I'm sure you did, and forgive me because I've forgotten, but I imagine that you and Governor Brown had some sort of a wager.
Yeah, he got to eat some good barbecue.
What were you going to get?
Some restaurant up there. In San Francisco somewhere. He said it was a good restaurant, but I thought the ribs were going to be better.
They would. We had a barbecue showdown this afternoon out by the TV trucks out there in front of the cameras, and of course, Q39 from Kansas City outdid Adams from St. Louis. Adams Smokehouse. So our guys, Q39, Rob McGee, did a great job. I mean, it was hands down. Mr. Governor, look, I know St. Louis has pride in a lot of their things there, and that city's a beautiful city, and their baseball team's one of the greatest and has been for years, but they cannot claim barbecue. It was an easy contest. We all, three judges, we tasted and we said, wow, hands down.
I come here to eat barbecue, that's for darn sure.
There you go.
Well, I'm sure it's very hard for you to be inconspicuous anywhere, but if you want to sneak out to our production truck, some of the leftovers from the barbecue showdown are there for your taking.
I may sneak out. I may bring a couple Highway Patrol troopers with me. They'll finish it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Governor, what do you like most when you go to a baseball game to watch? Do you like the great defensive plays the Royals make? Do you like their outstanding pitching and their back into their pen, or do you like the hitting? What do you like?
Well, the defensive side is important to me. I mean, I think that these players are so in tune in the shifts and how they're so well scouted, and the defensive side has always been hard. It's so fast.
Well, the Royals are really kind of leading the charge to make defense something that teams are investing. When we went through the steroid era, and here's a great play on the second pitch of the game tonight, but during the steroid era, everyone was just power this, power that, power pitching, power hitting, and defense was just kind of an afterthought. And the Royals, been a lot of teams who have seen the Royals model and value what you were just talking about.
The athletes look more fluid too. Yeah, I was not at any level that you guys ever were, but I played catcher, so it was a good place to watch the game. And you're in every play, so that part of the game of being right in there where the shifts are, where the action is in the air and in the ground is really a lot of fun.
And also what we're witnessing is Yadier Molina, obviously the best catcher in the game today at 33 years old, and Salvador Perez at 24 years old. He wears the Gold Glove too. Almost 10 years separate him in age, but you got the best in the business right here at the K.
Mike Moustakas resisted the temptation of maybe trying for a triple play there, and he goes 5-3 across the diamond. So as we talk about defense, there's a nice defensive play and 2 down.
Yeah, Perez looks a lot like a young Yachty, and Yachty left 20 pounds in the offseason, so he's just a little quicker looking this year. But I think they're the 2 best catchers out there.
You got that right. And Moustakas, you know, they already have 3 Gold Glovers, the Royals do, and they could easily have 5. Kane in center is probably going to get 1, and Escobar or Moose. I mean, there's gold all over the diamond here.
Yeah, this Kane, the center fielder, was the guy that surprised me last year when I watched him. That's a special talent.
That was kind of his coming out party. I mean, I think, Hud, wouldn't you say we all kind of saw another level of Lorenzo Cain in the postseason we hadn't seen before?
And he had a magnet in his glove.
Matt Adams out into right center field, so 2 on, nobody out, and Chris Young has a scoreless top of the 3rd inning. Mr. Governor, I know you're super busy. We always appreciate you spending some time with us, and maybe we'll see you over in St. Louis for the 2nd half.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
Correctly. Started with KVC Kansas in Johnson County, where she has served in multiple positions, but now is the kinship care coordinator, seeking relative placements for children who are in foster care. She has a passion for partnering with families and other professionals to ensure systems are collaborating to provide the best possible service for families. Sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game. Lance Lynn is down 3-0. He is lucky he is not down 6-0, as Mike Moustakas nearly hit a 3-run home run to match Kendrys Morales' 3-run home run, and he's been in trouble all night. Lorenzo Cain is 2 for 2, and this is the 3rd straight inning where the Royals have had the leadoff man on.
And you know that. See him on side of the ball there trying to get some run, but it's in the middle of the plate. It's going to get struck hard. Cain going right with it. Perfect form. The wind is blowing in from right field. I think that hurt Moustakas' ball.
Eric Hosmer, who has driven in 30 this year. So he and Morales have now combined to drive in 65 runs. That's the 2nd most in the major leagues amongst 2 teammates. Only Bryce Harper and Ryan Zimmerman of the Nationals have more combined RBIs than Hosmer and Morales.
Well, there's your legitimate beef and meat of the order. Guys that are paid to drive runs in. Morales has given Hosmer great protection. And in turn, Hosmer's been patient and drawing more walks. 19.
Little pop up and Molina getting rid of the mask. 1 down. Here comes Morales bringing the lumber, and Yellowwood is bringing the lumber. This is Morales with 2 on, 2 out in the first inning.
Man, and he stepped all over it. Bam, bam. That's right. He can hit. He can hit from both sides of the plate, especially on an inside fastball. He's never seen one of those he didn't like. Yellowwood, go ahead, bring the lumber.
And that was just the 3rd home run allowed by Lance Lynn. And Lynn has now pitched over 50 innings this year. .35 RBIs, leads the American League as he has passed Nelson Cruz of the Mariners. And there it goes again. 2 swings, 5 RBIs for Kendrys Morales.
Lance Lynn, he knows Morales is hungry, and he knows that by now he can't sneak that cheese by him. Here it is again, almost identical spot. 88 took a little off, thought he would cut it, didn't cut, and Morales says bam bam again. Look at the balance. Bottom leg drops a little bit. Good balance out here. Catches it out in front, and it is way out of here. Look at that. Nice follow through.
Alex hits it out to Borges in center field. 2 down. That's the 13th time that Kendrys Morales has had more than 1 home run in the game. And he is 1 RBI shy of his career high. Only in the 3rd inning.
When you get in a groove, your eyes really tell your hands where to go every time. And you're going to hit the ball hard somewhere. And if you catch the back underside, you get that backspin.
So Lance Lynn had allowed 2 home runs in 48 2/3 innings coming into tonight's game, and now he's given up 2 home runs in 2 2/3 innings. And now Salvador Perez slices it down into the corner. Runner in scoring position with 2 down. Sal is 2 for 2.
When you're basically a fastball slider pitcher, you know, there's not much else to show the Royals, and they're the best offense in the American League for sure, and some would argue in baseball. They just know how to hit, and Salvador Perez using the opposite field, letting the ball travel deep towards the catcher's glove and just throwing his hands out there on that outside pitch. Doesn't get any better than that as far as going the other way.
And now the ball gets by Molina, and that allows Perez to go to 3rd. Omar grounded out to third first time up. And at 92 miles an hour, Lance Lynn hits the outside. 1-1. Just missed, down and in.
'60th pitch coming up. Royals making Lance Lynn work.
And he continues to make him work. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pass Lynn. Colton Wong throws out Omar Infante to end the inning. Kendrys Morales, a one-man wrecking ball tonight. A 3-run home run in the first inning and a 2-run home run in the third.
Bam Bam Morales.
Just back to last night, our old friend Will Smith. In Atlanta. See that there? I know Monty's never done anything like that. Will Smith tossed for the foreign substance on his arm. Atlanta wanted it checked out. A mix of rosin and sunscreen. Said he was trying to get a good grip on the ball. He has been suspended for 8 games and will appeal that. Here, Chris Young not needing any help with a 5-0 lead. Going to just keep on cruising. And guys, you talked before about Young being really good when he has 2 strikes. Coming into the night, opponents batting .066 against him. And I asked Dave Island about it, and he said he's a veteran guy. Look at those numbers and how well he's been among the league leaders, the league leader. And Dave said, look, young guys, sometimes they step off the gas pedal. They get a little bit comfortable as that goes foul. And maybe they have a false sense of security. But a veteran guy like this, he wants to step on their neck. He's going for the kill at that point. Just like a young guy, maybe he gets the first 2 guys out, and then suddenly you see a quick 2-0 count. They let up. That's not the case with the veteran, Chris Young.
All right, Joel, thank you. Johnny Peralta, 2-1 against Chris Young, and now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Peralta popped out in the second inning. I mean, I'm assuming it was just a heat of the moment type of a thing. And I like Will Smith when he was here. Good guy, good pitcher. And I guess the part that I was a bit confused by was how angry he appeared to be with the Atlanta Braves, because it just it just seemed to be so obvious. I mean, it was right on his forearm. I mean, the cameras could see it.
I agree. Where's the accountability?
Well, you know, look, it's obvious, like you said, everyone could see it. So why not just wear that? Showed a little immaturity, I think.
Well, let's bring in Jeff Montgomery. And I mean, look, Sports South, which does the Braves broadcast, they had the substance on his arm before the umpire even got to him. And when Will Smith left the mound, I mean, he was just boiling mad and screaming at the Braves dugout. And I just want to get from a pitcher's point of view, what is it that he would be so upset about with the Braves?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think if you are going to be that obvious about it, you should expect something as far as repercussions to occur. Certainly they did, but yeah, that one's on him.
I mean, it's one thing if the umpire goes out and makes him take his hat off and they're inspecting the inside of the hat or the glove, because quite a few pitchers are doing things like that, and especially on a cold night when it's hard to grip the baseball. And I can't say I blame a pitcher. I mean, a hitter can use pine tar to grip a bat. Most pitchers will tell you, well, let me ask you, how much of an advantage would it be as far as the quality of your stuff if you just had a little? Does it make you a better pitcher? Is it an unfair advantage?
It gives you the ability to command the baseball better, to throw the pitch that you want to throw and not have to worry about that pitch slipping out of your hand, and being able to get the finish on the pitch, because everything starts with the grip and pitching, and if you don't have a good grip, it's very difficult to execute quality pitches.
Okay, but let me ask you this. On a cold night, and let's say you use a little pine tar, which I'm sure you never did, but let's say you use a little pine tar on a cold night. Does it make your grip any better than it would be in July when the...
No.
Okay, that's the answer to my question.
In fact, it probably is still not as good as it would be in July when it's humid outside and you have some, you know, just some natural moisture from perspiration on your forehead that you utilize to get that good grip.
Whitey Herzog would have a great story for you. If he could probably remember it. He waited till Pascual Perez, he's pitching with the Expos, and I was out there playing second base, and Pascual was dealing against the Cardinals. It's 7th inning. And Whitey came out, talked to the umpire, and they came out and looked at him, and Pascual had these long hair and jerry curl. You know, they have that stuff they put on their hair, you know,
right,
to keep it oily or whatever, and he was using that. And that ball was exploding. It was going down there. But he waited till he was dealing, and then they went and they searched him. They couldn't find anything, and then Pascual fell apart.
Yep. We had a pitcher, Hippolito Pichardo, who was the same way, had those jerry curls, and used that, whatever it was, to get that look. And he did the same thing. But it helped his pitch. I mean, it was something that helped get that natural life and that sink in the pitch work.
So that's the point. I mean, both of those are illegal substances,
right,
but they have completely different effect on the baseball.
Exactly.
Pine tar versus...
Well, like the pine tar that the hitters use to get a good grip on the bat, really all they're doing is they're hopeful that that bat doesn't come flying out of their hands. You know, they have batting gloves on, and especially if it's cold outside, they get something to help them, and it's legal for the hitters to utilize that. But the pitchers, for some reason, don't have the ability to use that same substance and really help them maybe throw strikes and maybe not hit a batter, for example, from a ball slipping out of their hand.
Wasn't that Freddie Freeman's line of the Braves after the game that he didn't mind that Will Smith had the pine tar on in a night like that because he didn't want to get hit in the head?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Monty.
Molina is 2 for 2.
Since I never pitched before, and I can't really tell you how to make that ball move, if a guy's going to put a foreign substance on the ball, how does he do it? How does he throw it?
Well, if you're going to try to throw it a spitter, so to speak, when you have the ball, you want the ball to come out. You want it to slip out. And a lot of times people have described it as squirting a watermelon seed out of your hand. You know how when you squeeze a watermelon seed, it just kind of squirts out?
So you're not on the seams at all?
No. You want it to be slick. You want it to be very slick. And not that I've ever done it, but I've
but you've heard.
I've played around with it.
Yeah.
I never did it in a game, put it that way.
Monty,
okay.
There you go. But you know what? There's a way to do it. I couldn't throw one because I wouldn't know how to throw it. But the pitchers who make their living doing that, you guys know that baseball, every seam, every bit of it.
Remember Bruce Keeson, our pitching coach, he always said that if he had a little bit of foreign substance like that, he could make the baseball sing the national anthem.
Well, then there was, you know, and he spent a little time with the Royals, Gaylord Perry, and they never could find it on him. But just the mental game he would play with a hitter by touching every part of his face and his ear and his hat, at least trying to get in the hitter's head that he was doing something extra to baseball, and they never could find what it was he was doing.
So many mind games go on out there between the white lines that you never even know about, but the players understand.
Right, and Ryan was asking me early, I was telling him if you've never faced Chris Young before, that's an advantage, because you haven't felt the frustration of him making you out on 90-mile-an-hour pitches. And I was telling Rhino, it's 90% of the game's mental. These guys, they're all here. All their bodies are all good enough to play up here, but it's that thinking muscle. It's that what you're thinking.
Impressive, but foul. And now it's 3-2. So back to the original point, Will Smith's probably angry because I'll bet some of the Braves pitchers were doing the same thing. So why are you singling me out? But the fact that it was just so obvious. It was almost like Michael Pineda when he had this stuff on his neck. I mean, Molina runs, and that's fouled back our way. Ooh, I had it. Just hit the top facing of our broadcast booth.
It was right to you, Rhino.
I pulled an Elgin Baylor right there. I was bailing out.
Well, he was not happy. The moral of the story, Will Smith, I mean, he spent the whole time walking off the mound to the third base dugout. He was just chewing on the Braves dugout.
I thought the 8-game suspension was rather severe for that. 8 games for a relief pitcher, that's a long time.
That's what they gave him?
Yeah, 8-game suspension.
I wonder how much of that was the substance and how much of it was while he was walking off the mound.
I didn't hear that.
Deanna Pineda got, I think, 6 games last year, but for a starting pitcher, that's pushing you back a couple of days. But for a relief pitcher, 8 games is a lot. Ooh.
Popped up.
What new?
Mike Moustakas all by himself on the left side, brings it down, and that's 4 scoreless innings for Chris Young, pitching with a big lead. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Jeep, come discover great deals during the Jeep Drive and Discover event. I-70 Series Part 1, Kauffman Stadium jam-packed, and you can hardly notice the red. I mean, just little patches here and there, and we can say it now because it's not ancient history but close to it. But all those years when this ballpark was 2/3 red. Paulo Orlando is safe after Carpenter couldn't handle the one-hopper. And when the ovations were louder for the Cardinals than they were for the Royals, it was embarrassing. And as I said, there are little specks of red amongst the blue tonight, but that's about it.
Yeah, it really doesn't look totally unusual for what you would expect to see on a regular game night, so not overbearing at all.
Paulo Orlando's second infield hit. He smells it. Look at him turn those afterburners on. Second infield hit on the day for him, and 32nd overall infield hit by a Royals batter.
And Lance Lynn has been pitching out of the stretch basically all night.
Notice how he hit the front part of the base with his foot. You young players out there watching, that gets you there quicker and you get the better call. Favorable for you.
1-1 on Alcides Escobar. 4 innings, 4 leadoff men on for the Royals. Escobar walked, leading off the first. Scored on Kendrys Morales' first home run, which was a 3-run shot. And then Morales added a 2-run home run in the third. Orlando runs, and the Royals were trying a hit and run. And it's 1-2. It's an unfair question, Monty, but what was your first reaction when Mike Matheny and the Cardinal trainer went out to chat with Lance Lynn and he stays in the game?
Well, I was surprised he stayed in the game. His velocity is down from what it normally is, especially early in that game, and just don't want to take a chance when, especially when you lose a guy that's on the cover of your media guide and Adam Wainwright in this, early in the season. You don't want to lose another guy. You can't afford to. So they've got some issues to deal with if they lose another starter.
Back to Lynn. He'll go to second. Pretty good feed with the speedy Orlando arriving at second base. 1 out.
Well, if there's any discomfort in his arm or his body, that would have activated it even more. Throwing from an unorthodox position like this, he turns, goes sidearm like an infielder would. He must be all right. Yachty's out checking on him now.
Remember, Royals fans, you have the exclusive opportunity to purchase an autographed copy of Dayton Moore's new book, More Than a Season. The book explores the intersection of faith, family, and leadership and the process of rebuilding a championship culture in Kansas City. 100% of the proceeds from the book purchases support Dayton Moore's charity, See You in the Major Leagues. So for just $25, you can purchase your autographed copy today at Royals.com/More Than a Season. Mike Moustakas has flied out twice. His fly out to center field in the second inning for a moment looked like a 3-run home run, but may have been knocked down by the wind, which is blowing in from right. Back in 2012, Mike Moustakas did not come up short against Lance Lynn.
Moose had little hair then. He came up about 5 feet shy of hitting a 3-run homer earlier.
On the ground to Carpenter. Out at second base. Wong to first. For a 5-4-3 double play. First time that Lynn has only faced 3.5 innings. The Royals lead big. All 5 tonight. Remember, you can enjoy one-of-a-kind experiences at Kauffman Stadium with our Royals Memories program. A variety of on-the-field opportunities are available for purchase each game exclusively through the MLB.com ballpark app. You can play catch in the outfield, take in summer fireworks on the field, and many more exciting experiences are available. Simply download the ballpark app, pick upgrades, and select a once-in-a-lifetime experience. That's what that fella's doing right now, sitting out on the Pepsi porch in right field. It hasn't been easy for Chris Young, but he has turned in 4 more scoreless innings. So as a Royal, he has pitched 32 2/3 innings, and he has allowed 3 earned runs.
Pretty good work, Monty.
You're right. It's very good work. He's had to work for it tonight, but overall his numbers been incredible.
The foul ball got Sal square in the mask. Peter Borges fouled out to Mike Moustakas in the 2nd inning.
That guy's had a few foul tips in his 13-year major league career. I was reading an article where he says that he could have had 25 to 30 concussions in his baseball career. That's an alarming number. 5 is a lot.
Chris Young wants it, but that would break a federal law for him to make the catch. So Hosmer makes the play, 1 down. Now beginning his 3rd time through the Cardinals batting order. He has allowed 5 hits. Combined first 2 times to the order. Tough as they come first time, the league gets a little better second time, and then he's very good 3rd time to the order.
I think most guys would take that 208 across the board if they could get it.
You just see how hitters pop the ball up. It doesn't matter. Tigers twice this year, Yankees once. Those are some pretty good offensive teams, and a lot of pop-ups.
I would think that a hitter, when they face Chris Young, would want to get back in that batter's box as soon as they possibly could. So a lot like guys like Bruce Chen and guys that don't overpower, they can make you look pretty silly just by having a game plan and being able to execute it. We see that with Chris Young. He does it so effectively.
Sometimes it's referred to a comfortable 0 for 4. Hitter never feels uncomfortable in the box. They feel like they see the ball well, and yet they just can't quite make solid contact against him. That is the second walk allowed by Young. Colton Wong is on for a second time. 1-on-1 out to Matt Carpenter. He is one of our 2 T-Mobile game changers tonight as we compare 2 of the best third basemen in the game. Mike Moustakas hitting at .342 when the game began. Matt Carpenter at .311, and like Moustakas, among the league leaders in many offensive categories. Defensively, the numbers say that Moustakas is better than Carpenter. That Carpenter is just average at third base with the 0 for defensive runs saved. Mike Moustakas defensively under that category is the best defensive third baseman in the American League. Only Nolan Arenado of the Rockies is better in defensive runs saved. How about this for scouting, guys? The baseball world knew about Mike Moustakas. He was the 2nd overall pick. So if the Royals didn't take him, the team after them or the team after them were going to take him. Matt Carpenter was a 13th round pick out of TCU, and the Cardinals signed him for $1,000.
Incredible.
Great scouting.
He's a great baseball player, really. He can hit. I mean, he's selective. He stays inside the ball, uses the whole field, and he's got some power. 7 homers on the year. And like Royal center fielder Lorenzo Cain, Torrey Hunter is a big mentor to him.
And Carpenter bunts to Moustakas. Throw back to second base. What a heads-up play by Escobar and Moustakas. They almost got Colton Wong.
If Moose's throw would have been closer to the bag, they might have gotten it. You have to be extremely alert if you're on the bases and you're the opposing team against the Royals, because they don't give up. If you get off that base in a second, they'll pick you off. Salvi likes to throw behind the runners to any base. Just as you saw Moustakas right there, he wasn't giving in to Colton Wong at second.
And Holiday is grounded to Moustakas twice, and one of his ground balls was a double play. 1 ball and 1 strike. He has that impressive streak we were telling you about in the first inning. He has reached base in each of the 38 games he has played this year. He was off yesterday. And that's well hit to right field. Paulo Orlando at the track brings it down. Wong will go to third. Carpenter will go back to first. And there are 2 out.
He's got power to all fields. He just didn't catch this one. It's on the end, off the end of the bat. So he pulls his hands in, keeps his shoulders, everything inside that ball and the outside pitch.
First and third, 2 down to Matt Adams, who is 0 for 2 so far against Chris Young. Pickoff play at third and almost got Wong. It's the second time in this inning the Royals have tried to throw behind Colton Wong.
Jose Oquendo, the third base coach, long time for the Cardinals. He's right down there on the bag. He's warned these guys about Salvi and the way he likes to throw. But you can't play for him.
Hit hard and deep and foul, and it's 1-2 on Matt Adams, who has big time power. He has homered 4 times this year, so why try a pickoff play like that in a 5-run game? Well, if Adams connects, he could turn a 5-run game into a 3-run game. And that's pulled foul. Still 1-2.
It's like the way Chris Young is keeping him off balance tonight. 87-90 with his fastball, slider, and the occasional changeup is keeping those hitters honest. See,
yeah,
that third pitch is important, Monty. Lance Lynn looks like he's just trying, 2 pitches, fastball, slider, and it's just not enough.
Right. Out of the bullpen, Chris Young maybe doesn't need that third pitch, but in this role as a starting pitcher, certainly would like to have that pitch, especially here now, third time through the lineup. Give him a different look every time.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Did he go? Yes! In the Royals' last 3 games, the Reds and Cardinals are a combined 0 for 18 with runners in scoring position. Well, how'd it go, Hud?
Wow. It was no contest. I could tell you from one bite, although I took several from both, that the first bite I took from Adams Smokehouse was good. But then when I ate one of Rob McGee's ribs, and then the sausage that had extra spice in it. It was no contest. Chipotle cilantro sausage. It was great.
Although I've heard cilantro is really good too.
Well, whatever he put in that mixture, it brought me out of my seat. Fantastic display. Plus, you know, Q39, Rob McGee, great job. Thank you so much for supplying not just food for the judges, but for all the guys out there in the truck and the production truck out there. Thank you so much. It was delicious.
Were you invited, Monty?
I was unable to make it because I was trying to find some fresh cilantro.
Especially organic cilantro is supposed to be even better. It's very much in season.
Rhino, you should have come.
It helps to get an invitation.
Oh man,
I mean,
I'm so sorry about that.
I'm just reading about this for the first time.
Oh, that's on me. My problem. I'm sorry, but there is some left.
No, it's not. It's not on you. It's not on you.
Well, you know, I think we advertised the promos during the week a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? And every
up.
night I watch TV, there are commercials for cruises to Alaska, but that doesn't mean you just show up and say, "Hey, I heard you're going to Alaska." Right?
Okay. You win.
Now, Ryan, in defense of HUD, you park in the Rockstar parking area, right? So you don't park out where we park by the truck, so you didn't see that preparation they had going on.
Oh, Monty, way to go.
Wow.
It was quite a display out there.
This is like a game. Is anybody keeping score here on digs?
Hey, they had two big barbecues, one from St. Louis, one from here in Kansas City. I mean, it was a big production. Tents, you know, cameras. It's a big deal here. Thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Ball one to Eric Hosmer. Now, J.P. Morosi, and you'll see him tomorrow for the Fox broadcast. He was the tiebreaker. And J.P. Morosi has been a fan of what the Royals have been doing as a team in Kansas City for a long time. So we were stunned when he didn't pick the Royals to win the division this year. I imagine he made up for it during the barbecue contest.
He did, but you know, it wasn't set up at all. It was obvious through the taste. Yeah, he got a standing over me. And look at how dejected the Cardinal side looked. Their body language told all that. They knew it from bite to bite.
Rick Horton was the other judge. He is your counterpart.
Yeah.
Cardinals TV.
And former teammate.
Hosmer is down on strikes. And Lance Lynn, a big strikeout pitcher, only has 3 in 4 2/3 innings. Let's go to Joel.
Well, Ryan, I was talking with Mitch Meyer, the now Royals instructor, today about the signing of Kendrys Morales, and he said, I wasn't the least bit surprised that they signed him and that he's doing as well as he has, and there's a reason for that. Mitch was a teammate in 2007 and 2008 in the Dominican Republic in winter ball with Kendrys, Brian Pena, Nelson Cruz. Said great teammate, consistent, professional at bats from both sides. He said, I bet if you were to ask Nelson Cruz, he'd say he wasn't surprised either. Oh, by the way, Kendrys tonight has surpassed Nelson Cruz for most RBIs in the American League.
Cruz had 1 tonight, so he has 34. And Morales has 37. He is 1 shy of his career high, which is 6. And with 2 swings of the bat tonight, in the first 3 innings, he has driven in 5. And that's off of Peralta's glove and into center field. And man, you can't hit that any harder. Morales is on with 2 down.
I thought Peralta might have a shot, but that ball picked up speed. Staying on the outer half of the plate. He knew not to come inside, I think, but that ball was scorched. I mean, it was picking up speed as it passed Peralta.
Royals, of course, lead the American League in hitting, so they just have been piling up the hits this year, and that's the 33rd time. This is game number 41. That's the 33rd time that we've had a Royal with 3 hits or more in a game. Alex Gordon normally does very well against the Cardinals. He is 0 for 2 so far tonight. There's his first hit. And Morales will round and head to third. Runners in the corners with 2 down.
Gotta love Morales continuing to go into third base there. You're up 5 runs. That was challenging Borges, the center fielder, to try to throw me out here. And Peralta caught it and didn't even attempt.
Salvador Perez 2 for 2 with a single and a double. 10 hits for the Royals in 4 2/3 innings. And Lance Lynn in his last 2 starts was as good as anybody in the National League.
That's what speed do.
Nailed. 1 ball, 1 strike. It is the 21st time that the Royals have had 10 or more hits in a game, which is tied for second in the major leagues. Batting better than .500 with a runner in scoring position and 2 down. Salvador Perez. Fastball away at 94. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, Monty, maybe Lance Lynn was just a little stiff in the early innings, as now he's back to a lot of 93 and 94 the last 2 innings.
Yeah, I heard he had a little hip flexor issue in spring training camp, and he's dealt with that during the early part of the season, so maybe that's part of his problem.
That might have been what Mike Matheny was asking about when they checked on him in the first inning. Sal is down on strikes. Lynn ends up striking out the side. The Royals get 2 more hits, and at the end of 5-0 KC. Tonight, Royals fans are thrilled with a 5-0 lead. 5 scoreless innings for Chris Young as he's worked around 6 hits. And Monty, let's take a look at the sprint cuts of the game against Chris Young.
Well, Chris Young is doing exactly what we're expecting from him. He's getting a lot of outs in the air. A couple nice plays on defense. I thought Moose was going to think about going for 3 there when it came off the bat. But all in all, it hasn't been an easy game for Chris Young, but the numbers would tell you he's certainly in command of this game.
Johnny Peralta, Randall Grichuk, and Yadier Molina will bat in the top of the 6th inning. The first 2 games of the series, at least 24 hours ago, seemed to have a lot of intrigue on the mound because you have Chris Young making another start. Jason Vargas pitched a simulated game today. He's coming back from the disabled list soon, we believe. And Danny Duffy was scheduled to start tomorrow. Peralta launches it toward left field. And that is foul. No balls and 2 strikes. But then we found out before the game tonight that it'll be Edinson Volquez tomorrow. And Danny Duffy will be pushed to the Yankees series because Duffy has been experiencing some tightness in his shoulder. So Volquez and Lackey tomorrow, 2 evenly matched pitchers. Peralta strikes out. That is the 2nd strikeout for Chris Young. So it gives Duffy a little extra time if his shoulder is tight, and maybe that's a better matchup for him going up against the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium, where he'll see some left-hand hitters in that short porch and right.
Just hopefully he's able to make that start. Anytime you have shoulder stiffness, there's always concern, especially this time of year. You don't want to push things too far. Remember last year in New York, Danny had that stiff shoulder issue, had to miss a couple of starts.
That's right. Through like 1 pitch.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say 1 pitch.
Yep.
Randall Grichuk has singled and flied out. Great hit over the outside, and it's 0-2 from Chris Young. Chris Young was a DraftKings player to watch, and he hasn't disappointed tonight. Felix Hernandez, I think that applies every time he takes the mound. D. Gordon has done well against Baltimore, and Chris Bryant, we'll see him during the next road trip when the Royals go to Wrigley Field.
Is that 4 stolen bases for Didi tonight?
They had 4 stolen bases, so I'm assuming.
Jiminy Christmas. Have a night on the bases.
101 pitches. That's 10 more than Chris Young's previous career high, and with that in mind, or a season high. And with that in mind, the Royals are busy in the bullpen. In the air. 2 outs in the 6th inning.
I think Ned Yost is going to let Chris Young stay out there as long as he's perfect this inning. Once there's a base runner, wouldn't be surprised to see him go to the bullpen.
How many other general managers are either keeping tabs on the Royals or just completely ignoring the Royals because they don't want to hear how well Chris Young is doing, because they passed on Chris Young? And there are teams out there that need pitching a lot more than the Royals did this year, and yet Dayton Moore, with some foresight, went out and signed someone who was supposed to be a long reliever and maybe a start here or there. And where would they be right now without Chris Young?
It's a good question. He's been a godsend for the Royals.
Yadier Molina is 2 for 2, a single to left and a single to right. Got it in on him. In the air again. Eric Hosmer brings it down. Chris Young has made 4 starts for the Royals, and his ERA is so small you can hardly see it. 0.40. Forever young. For great deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. "5-0 Royals. Kendrys Morales has driven in all 5. He had a 3-run home run in the first inning and then added a 2-run home run in the third. All against Lance Lynn, who begins the bottom of the 6th inning with 91 pitches. And we'll get Infante, Orlando, and Escobar. Omar's after the first pitch, and that will drop foul. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Jeff Sufferling from Blue Springs. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Jeff wins $600. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Jeff wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Had him reaching, and Grichuk makes it an interesting play as he started back and then had to sprint in to make the catch. Saturday MLB on Fox Sports 1 continues as the Brewers take on the Braves during the afternoon game. That's at 2:30. Then at 6 p.m. game 2 with the Royals and the Cardinals. Matt Vasgersian, John Smoltz, who's going into the Hall of Fame, and J.P. Morosi will cover the game for you. You're home for baseball every Saturday, Fox and Fox Sports 1. Paulo Orlando has 2 infield hits tonight, and now he pops it up into shallow right center field. 3 Cardinals are there, and it's the second baseman Wong going out to make the play. 2 away. I'll be interested to hear after the game what exactly the visit was all about when Lance Lynn, after walking Alcides Escobar and then fell behind Mike Moustakas, and his manager there, Mike Matheny, along with the Cardinal trainer, went out to have a long chat with Lance Lynn, who talked his way in staying in the game.
by doing that, saving Matheny's bullpen big time.
Two and 0 to Escobar. He walked leading off the first inning, and along with Lorenzo Cain scored on the first of Kendrys Morales' 2 home runs. Two and 1. Adams runs to the camera bay.
You know, having the governor up here asking him about what element of the Royals he likes. He talked about the defense, and for Escobar on the first hitter of the game, second pitch, to taking that bat away was really special. Colton Wong. It was going to land foul, but never know. He gets another chance. He could have got a base hit and got on base. Just never know who's going to make the play. Someone's going to each night. Second pitch. Moose is going for it. It's a tough angle in a long run.
That's almost as difficult as the play he made in Cleveland last year.
Yeah, look at the slide. It's just like he slides into the base. His right leg tucked. Perfect slide.
Long goes out. Borges comes in. And Borges makes the play. That's the first 1-2-3 inning for Lance Lynn. At the end of 6, the Royals lead 5-0. You buy your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Downtown KC, not as much going on a Friday night as we are jam-packed at Kauffman Stadium for the first of 3 with the Cardinals. And the Royals make a Chevy call to the bullpen and bring on Franklin Morales after 6 more scoreless innings for Chris Young. And if you weren't with us at the end of the top of the 6th inning, in 4 starts with the Royals, Chris Young's ERA is 0.40.
Man, he just keeps throwing zeros up there. That invisible. Morales hasn't faced big league hitters in 7 days. It's because of the outstanding starting pitching. There's no way around it. He's got a fastball slider he'll use out of the bullpen.
Hayward on 2 hops to Morales. Jason Hayward is 0 for 3. You know, Hud, one more thing on Chris Young. In his 4 starts, he has faced the Tigers twice, the Yankees, and the Cardinals. It's not like he's, you know, beating up on the weakest kids on the block.
It's even more impressive against those offenses.
Peter Borges takes ball 1. Royals starters now in the last week have an ERA of 1.51.
Well, there's a quick answer to the rotation issues. Starting to fold in, starting to compete against one another, starting to pass that competitive baton from starting pitcher to starting pitcher, and that's good internal competition.
On Borges. Salas has a 1-out walk, or Morales rather has a 1-out walk. And now the Cardinals will have the top of the order coming up. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand in HD with highlights, live look-ins, and pitch tracking every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. You know, starting rotation over the past week has dropped about 50 points off of their collective ERA.
And that's a ton. Catching up. Throwing strikes, getting ahead of hitters, and obviously that defense has a lot to do with it.
Morales perhaps showing some rust after a long layoff.
7 days is a long time. It's almost like a hitter sitting right on the bench and playing once a week. Really hard for timing. Might be a little strong.
Two and one. You know, we spent a lot of time this year, and for good reason, talking about Chris Young, Ryan Madsen, Joe Blanton has even made a contribution. You know, Franklin Morales was a non-roster invitee. Wong runs well. No double play, but the Royals get the second out of the inning. So Chris Young wasn't even with the Royals when spring training began. Ryan Madsen was a non-roster invitee. Joe Blanton was a non-roster invitee. And Franklin Morales was a non-roster invitee.
It's those kind of players, if they can perform like they're supposed to, can make a huge difference, and that's what we're seeing. A complementary of excellent athletes and pitchers to come in here to complement the already talented core nucleus of players and pitchers.
Matt Carpenter last year and tonight is hitting .588 against the Royals. Boy, he almost had Wong picked off. And .588 sounds low. It seems like Matt Carpenter is always on base.
You hit for a high average like that, you're spraying the ball.
Slow roller to Moustakas. The play is to first. 7 scoreless innings for Royals pitching tonight. Stretch time in Kansas City. The Royals lead 5-0.
Detroit beating Houston, Cleveland all over Cincinnati. Texas one better than New York at the moment. Prince Fielder, though, 2 home runs. And Minnesota and Chicago. Phil Hughes taking on Jeff Samardzija. Our Mazda game break takes us to that Houston-Detroit game. Victor Martinez on the DL. J.D. Martinez, though, goes deep. 6-2 is the final. They've won the first 2 against the Astros. Yesterday's win gave the Royals the best record in the American League. A win for the Royals tonight would give them the best record in the majors.
Thank you, Joe. Here is Carlos Villanueva on for Lance Lynn. He'll get Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, and Eric Hosmer.
88-92 with his fastball.
Hayward coming up in right field. Mike Moustakas is 0 for 4, 1 down in the bottom of the 7th.
Villanueva will mix in a slider and a changeup off of that fastball.
On the ground to Carpenter. Cain is out. Lorenzo is 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored. 37,379 for game 1. So just about 1,500 shy of an official sellout. Slow curveball, 71 miles an hour.
Doesn't look like there's many empty seats here.
Oh, and 2 on Hosmer. 0 for 3 so far tonight. So Villanueva, who's had a very good year so far, glides to the Royals easily in the bottom of the 7th. Royals lead 5-0. Great night in Kansas City and a great night at Kauffman Stadium as the Royals lead 5-1 in game 1 of 6 this year of the I-70 series, because the Royals interleague partner this season is the National League Central. So instead of 4 games against the Cardinals, we will see 6. Farmland will show us what's coming up at the K tomorrow night, and it's on Fox Sports 1, Edinson Volquez and John Lackey, on Fox. And then on Sunday, back on Fox Sports Kansas City, Yordano Ventura and Michael Wacha. The Royals made the decision before the game tonight that Danny Duffy would be pushed back a few days because of some stiffness in his left shoulder, so Volquez will fill that spot tomorrow on Fox. Ryan Madsen comes on to face Matt Holliday, Matt Adams, and Johnny Peralta. And this could be Matt Holliday's last chance tonight to stretch his streak, and he will. Not what he had in mind, but that's 39 consecutive games where Matt Holliday has reached base by way of a hit, a walk, or being hit by a pitch.
Tough way to do it. He's got a pat on that elbow, but it got him in the shoulder. Phantom Cam slows it down. That got him on the forearm as well. Madsen's fastball anywhere from 90 to 94. He'll get a 95 once in a while. Great changeup. Occasional slider. But at 6'6", 230, he's got a nice little downhill angle with that height, making it a little bit more difficult to square it up.
Escobar diving, blind flip to second base, and they get the force. And a very modest tip of the cap.
Great Hall of Fame basketball player Magic Johnson made that play famous, but Magic's got nothing over Escobar on this one. This is a no-look force out at second. And Moose thought about continuing that double play, but he said, we're good enough for one there.
And now ground ball base hit into right field for Johnny Peralta. You know, I wish Peralta had not swung at that pitch, because the stadium was reacting like it would for a curtain call when someone hits a home run and goes into the dugout, and then there's a second roar of the crowd to get the player to come out of the dugout and acknowledge the crowd, and the fans cheered the play, and then they kind of processed it for a while, and there was a second wave of cheers, and the base hit kind of killed that. I wanted to see what Escobar was going to do.
Yeah, looking at that replay angle there, Moose, had he thrown it, he might have had a chance at him at first. Yeah, I heard the roar too. I think had he not swung at that pitch, Esky might have had to tip his cap again.
Rando Grichuk is 1 for 3. He has Adams at second base and Peralta at first. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, was that a tip of the cap to the crowd, or was that the tip of the cap to his teammates? That's what the Royals do on good defensive plays. The dugout salutes the player, and the player answers with a salute.
I'm going to say all of the above.
1-2 on Grichuk.
Royals certainly respond here at the K. Their record 15-6. Cardinals are 15-5 in their home ballpark. 2 best marks.
You know, defense is so hard to measure. They're getting closer to numbers that are somewhat universally recognized, but the 2 that have been used the most are defensive runs saved and ultimate zone rating, which the Royals lead both. But it's the way the Royals lead both. Now, just coming into tonight, and who knows, I mean, maybe whoever evaluates has declared the Royals have saved more runs, but the Royals have saved 14 more runs than the next closest team. Ultimate zone rating, and I have to confess, I don't know what the score means, but the Royals are 28.7. The next closest team is 15.3. 2 down as Grichuk strikes out. So again, 28.7 leading the major leagues ultimate zone rating. The next closest club 15.3.
Yeah, it's a different guy every night. And you know, every night these guys put their bodies on the line. That's the true definition of a gamer.
Changeup is hit foul by Molina.
You hear the term gamer used on a player once in a while, and that is a guy who makes the play at any cost. Just make the play. And we see that nightly here.
One and one on Molina, who has a 2-hit game. And while Sal and Ryan Matson chat, we remind you to stop in and check out Rivals Sports Bar, located just beyond the fountains in right field, boasting one of the best views in Kauffman Stadium. This popular spot is equipped with a 360-degree bar and a full menu of delicious food and beverage options. You can watch the game in style with floor-to-ceiling glass and numerous HD TVs. That is Rule the swing, and it's 1-2 on Molina, the former home of Boulevard Royals Live. That spot right there, that's where Joel and Monty used to hang out.
They become so popular that they had to move their location, and Fox built them a whole new set.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Matt Adams at second base. Johnny Peralta's at first. The Cardinals so far have been shut out, but they have not been completely shut down. They have 7 hits. They have had a hit batter, and they have had 3 walks. So they've had 11 base runners in 7+ innings. But as Royals pitching has done all year, they've been exceptional with men on base and especially in scoring position. And now the runners will take off, and Molina will walk to load the bases.
Good idea on the 3-2 changeup. Matson wanted to throw it for a strike, and he just missed. And when you miss with that pitch, that's exactly where you want to miss. Down.
So now Matson against Ryan, or rather Jason Hayward, and Hayward hasn't had a lot of experience against Ryan Matson, but he has done quite well. He is 0 for 3 so far tonight, and Matson misses down and in, ball 1. 5 at bats for Hayward, 3 hits, and 1 is a home run. Adams at third, Peralta's at second, Molina is at first. And that's ruled a little high. 2 balls and no strikes.
Hayward knows a good pitch is coming. He hopes. Matson taking his time walking behind the mound, gathering himself here. 2-0. He 1 out away from getting out of it.
Up the middle, Infante slides, and there's another run-saving defensive play. So the Royals on the mound, and with the leather, come through again. Opponents now 0 for their last 20 against the Royals with runners in scoring position.
You can't get it by him. Tip a cap.
driven in 5 runs. Our Chrysler drives of the game. A 3-run shot in the first inning, followed by a 2-run shot in the 3rd inning.
On identical pitches. Same location, same spot. Can't get him out there. No vibration on the bat. Squared up.
So don't forget about Kendry's when you're voting for your favorite Royals at Royals.com/vote. Morales has not been an all-star yet. Villanueva had him reaching, and Borges will make the play in center field. Well, first time Morales is out, and he gets a nice applause ovation as he heads back to the first base dugout. And now Alex with 1 out, as we remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. One and one to Alex, who had a 5th inning single. He is 1 for 3. One of the Royals' 10 hits tonight. .65 miles an hour. That wouldn't break a pane of glass.
He flips that up there, doesn't he? Big time control of that release point. Slow it down that much.
It's like a curveball we'd see from Joaquin Soria every now and then.
Does a lot to mess up a hitter's timing, that's for sure. You know, I was on with the drive yesterday, the boys on 610, Carrington and Parkins, and they were really admiring Alex Gordon, but they couldn't get over his young son that runs and crashes into the walls because his daddy does. Pretty interesting.
Alex strikes out, 2 down, and even will lie on his back afterward and pause like his dad will, you know, making sure that there are no broken bones and that all of his limbs are still attached.
Yeah, we got to take another look at this right here. I mean, like, he came down. He hadn't even landed. He landed right face first into the fence. His feet had not hit the ground. Hochaver, he swears he could see Gordon's nose through one of the little squares there. It's crazy. That's going to be a knock.
And it's a 3-hit game for Salvador Perez, who had already extended his hitting streak to 8 games. And the Royals have 11 hits tonight.
Reached out, just look at his body, didn't even use his body, just stepped and used his hands. Hit it like he threw it.
Omar Infante is hitless, so he has a 6-game hitting streak on the line. One and one. That is the longest current hitting streak for a Royal. Infante pops it up. And Brichuk in from left. Royals are scoreless in the bottom of the 8th inning. 3 outs away from taking game 1. It'll be Jason Frazier in the top of the 9th inning. Nothing to the top of the 9th inning. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery. And we will give way to Fox Sports tomorrow, as you will get a doubleheader. First on Fox Sports 1, it's the Brewers and the Braves at 2:30, and then on Fox, Game 2 of the I-70 series. The Royals hosting the Cardinals at 6 o'clock. Matt Vasgersian, John Smoltz, and J.P. Morosi will handle the call. And then we're back on Fox Sports Kansas City on Sunday. Jason Frazier will pitch the top of the 9th inning. Peter Borges, Colton Wong, and Matt Carpenter scheduled to come up, and Jason Frazier has a 0.73 ERA.
Yep, very respectable. Fastball, slider, occasional split fingers or split finger pitch. We got a little flinch from Borges right there. A little slider that started in and it backed up over the plate.
And 2 on Borges, who has been on with a walk tonight, otherwise 0 for 2. Borges doesn't have much power, but one of his career home runs has been against Jason Frazier. Busted bat. Escobar throws out the speedy Borges. 1 down in the 9th inning.
The bat head traveled farther than the bat. I mean, than the baseball did. Oh, so that bat's way out there at the shortstop spot. Phantom Cam will show you. It's not pleasant. That's a jam shot. Look at all the muscles in the arms vibrating on that. Bat turns into slivers, and that bat head went all the way out to short. That is a jam sandwich.
Cardinals second baseman Colton Wong has singled and walked. He is 1 for 3 tonight. The Royals went 37 games this year without shutting out their opponent once. And now they're 2 outs away from shutting out their opponent 3 times in 4 games. At a time when pitching was becoming a bit of a question. At least the starting pitching, and man, have they stepped up over the last 7 games.
Yeah, there was some whispers. You know, nothing loud because the team's in first place. They're playing good ball, but there was some whispers around. What about our starting rotation? Just in the nick of time before the natives get restless.
2-2 on Wong. Cardinals have had a bit of a struggle lately offensively in their last 10 games. Still 2-2. Averaging about 3 runs per game over the last 10. Striking out quite a bit, although they cleaned that up tonight. The Royals have only struck out 3 Cardinal hitters. Up the right field line and foul. Still 2-2 on Colton Wong. Coming up after the game, it's Boulevard Royals Live with Joel and Monty from their brand spanking new set out in left center field next to the Miller Lite Fountain Bar in the Royals Hall of Fame. A lot of chat tonight about Kendrys Morales, who has homered twice, driven in 5, and taken over the league lead in RBIs. As well as Chris Young, 6 more scoreless innings for Chris Young. 3-2 on Colton Wong. Franklin Morales and Ryan Madsen have pitched in with scoreless innings. Jason Frazier trying to do the same to close this one out. And some fine defensive plays again tonight, which we've come to expect.
2 by Escobar and 1 from Infante that saved a couple of runs.
That stung. Frazier trying to close it out tonight. He also closed out the game on Sunday. That was a 6-0 shutout over the Yankees. And Wong is really giving him a fight with 1 out in the 9th inning.
Wong's a good looking player. 5'9", 185. Not very big in stature, but certainly has a compact stroke and has some power. He hit 12 home runs last year for the Redbirds.
And he earned that walk. Second walk that Wong has earned tonight. On base for a 3rd time, and the Cardinals have 1 on, 1 out. Chris Maloney is the Cardinal first base coach. Probably telling young Colton Wong that was a good plate appearance, especially with the team down 5-0 in the 9th inning. I mean, right now they're just playing with pride as they have a ways to go to make this a game again, but still working hard, still fighting hard, and reaching with a walk. At the knees for a strike to Matt Carpenter. 2 more hits for Carpenter. He has 20 multi-hit games. That leads the National League. It leads the major leagues.
It's hard to go wrong with his mechanics. He's really got a good base. Hands are in a good low hitting position. There's not a lot of movement. He takes his hands right to the ball. Doesn't get fooled that often because of his balance in his lower half. And he doesn't like batting gloves.
Frazier's ahead. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That stung. Get off the end of the bat into the crowd off to the left field side.
It sure did. Sometimes the batting gloves help keep that sting away.
And if you're wondering what that feels like, it's like grabbing a handful of thumbtacks.
That's a great analogy. You know, he missed some games this year because of fatigue. I asked him about it before the game. There's a split finger. That'll do it. It's going away. Hits it right off the end of the bat. It's the top hand that vibrates the most. And I asked him about that. He said it was an unusual feeling. He felt dizzy, and the Cardinals just said, look, why don't you just take a few days off? So they just let him stay home, and the team went on the road, and he joined them a few days later. But he missed 3 or 4 games because of fatigue. Hydration plays a big part of it, or lack of.
2-2. Again, just a little low. And now 3 balls, 2 strikes. And now some Royals fans who are ready for this game to be over and move on to the fireworks are becoming a little impatient.
Well, you know, it's a good take. And she's missing it.
Out into left center field. Wong rounds second and heads to third. Carpenter is heading to second, and he hustles in with a double. Matt Carpenter with a 3-hit game and on base 4 times.
Well placed. With the speedy runner ahead of him, he decided he would go ahead and advance to second base. Good decision.
And now this game is, and by the way, Carpenter leads the league with those 17 doubles. This game is 1 runner away from a save situation. And Greg Holland is throwing in the Royals bullpen. Second and third, 1 down to Matt Holliday. Most he has done tonight is he got plunked by Ryan Madsen leading off the 8th inning. And in getting hit, he reached base for a 39th consecutive game to begin the season.
Nothing wrong with that. It's impressive. He's also hitting .500 with the runner in scoring position coming into this game.
He is also 0 for 5 in his career against Frazier. And he was thoroughly confused by that pitch. It's 0-2.
There it was. Had to have been a split finger. Missed that by a foot. Extremely effective pitch. He doesn't show it a lot, but he'll get a righty or a lefty with that pitch.
Now fastball up. That's got to be a swing, right? Wow.
Split finger down, four-seamer up.
No, all right. From up here, I thought he went farther than that. But that's a strong, strong man to be able to trigger like that and be able to stop in time to not commit at that pitch. And back with a splitter, and now 2-2.
Frazier takes his time, thinks out his pitch. He knows himself very well. He's a veteran of over 10 major league seasons.
Just outside. It has not been a great inning for Jason Frazier, and especially with a 5-0 lead, but man, he has just missed about 5 times in this inning. It's not like he's all over the plate. He's had many pitches just like that one. A little high, a little wide, a little low. And Holiday just got a piece of it. Still 3-2.
Frazier not giving in. He's going split finger again. Sometimes hitters will say, all right, I know he's got to challenge me here, but that was just an emergency hack to keep it off. Keep the foul ball going and trying to buy another pitch.
Got him looking. Home plate umpire is Mike DeMuro. Holiday pleads his case that that pitch was down. That's a big out.
Sure was, and that's a perfectly located pitch. Frazier thinking it out. Concentration, execution of the pitch. It's excellent.
So that means a potential tying run is still in the hole, not on deck. And now Matt Adams. And that pitch was very close for ball 1. And Adams is 0 for 4. He has never faced Jason Frazier. Sal and Frazier want to talk it over. So the Royals are going for a shutout, their 3rd shutout over the last 4 games. The Cardinals are trying to end a 21-inning scoreless streak. We were just talking about how they've struggled in their last 10 games offensively. And now, over the parts of the last 3 games, they have gone 21 consecutive innings without scoring a run. 2-1.
Is that worthy of a sympathy card?
No. No. But I think before this year is over, we are going to find a suitable place for a sympathy card.
Oh, Frazier going to see if he can stay on the razor's edge. Keep it out of the middle.
On the ground to Hosmer. Frazier to the bag. The Royals have the best record in the major leagues. Kendrys Morales leading the way at the plate, driving in all 5 runs with 2 home runs. And on the mound, led by Chris Young, who started with 6 innings. The Royals have shut out their opponent for the 3rd time over the last 4 games. So the KCWs on this homestand have come by blanking their opponent.
Gotta love the starting pitching, and it's continuing to dominate for Ned Yost. Chris Young.
Sorry, Ned. 400 career victories for Ned Yost as manager of the Royals. And he is now 11 wins shy of Whitey Herzog.
That's right. Morales set the tone early. That fastball inside wasn't working for Lynn. At least to Morales it didn't. And then he tried it again. Morales, same spot. Fastball. He drove that out of the yard too. Instead of 3 stakes, it was just 2. But he's our star.
And he is down on the field with Joe.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Joined by Kendrys Morales, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. And Pedro Grifol here to help with the translation. Kendrys, what do you think about the I-70 series?
¿Qué tú piensas de la serie de la I-70 de nosotros contra ellos?
Bueno, principalmente estamos pensando en ganar, ¿no? Y nada, nos está saliendo las cosas bien y para adelante.
The most important thing is to win a baseball game, and today, thank God, everything turned out okay, and we won a game.
2 home runs on the game. Tell us about both of those. Any doubt at all?
2 honrones hoy que si pensaste que los 2 honrones se iban desde que le diste la bola.
Bueno, le conecté bastante bien, ¿no? Y nada, gracias a Dios que se fueron y pude ligar la carrera.
I was fortunate enough to make good contact, and you know, once again, thank God I was able to drive in those runs.
Are you watching Salvi right now?
No doubt.
You see Salvi? He's coming. I could let all you know. Here he comes. Well, that didn't work out. Notice to all the cameramen, you could also be a target. How much are you enjoying your time with the Royals?
¿Cómo te estás divirtiendo aquí con nosotros?
Bueno, tenemos buen equipo, ¿no? Buenos fanáticos también y nada, que sigan apoyándonos para nosotros tener bastante fuerza para el juego.
We got a good ball club. We got great fans, and hopefully you guys keep coming out and supporting us.
Well, Pedro, we better get another translator next time.
I'm done.
Pedro Grifol, Kendrys Morales, great job tonight. Guys, let's go back up to you.
Well, they knew it was coming, so they had time to prepare. Watch out, John. As Salvi went over the top, but then assuming that Salvi was done for the night, there he is. With a smile from here to St. Louis.